Hey, what's up? This is Joe. This video is going to take you on an epic journey halfway around the world, traveling by train to New York City on Halloween night. Eating quite possibly the best pizza on the planet. There we go, there, look at that. Witnessing all-out mayhem ensue at the Greenwich Village Halloween Parade. Sketchy, dude. Becoming lost in the country of Saudi Arabia. I have absolutely no idea where the hell I am. Returning to Manila for an all-time favorite Filipino dish. I've literally been looking forward to this all year. And ultimately making my way to Cebu City in the heart of the Philippines. After a long wait, I was finally making the last of my preparations before heading back to Southeast Asia for the winter. All right, basically what I'm doing here is just kind of going through 95% of my personal belongings are stored pretty much somewhere on the bike. So just taking everything out, laying it out, throwing away trash and broken stuff, and trying to figure out what I'm going to take with me to the Philippines. This definitely stood out. Had a surprisingly difficult time in Southeast Asia last year finding a good quality tire pressure monitor. Out in the little towns and villages and stuff like that, I could not find a good one. Actually, I couldn't find one, period. In some places in Thailand I was, but this is good. This should fit onto most valve stems on any of these scooters or motorcycles that I might be riding. This is out. Can't take that through TSA, so unfortunately I'll just have to shop around for a multi-tool. As a matter of fact, I just remembered I left a bunch of stuff with the hotel in Cebu City. I left like a tent, tarps, tools, pepper spray, stuff like that with them. Whether it's still there almost a year later, I guess we'll see. But if not, I mean, you can get another multi-tool for like $5. Gorilla tape, definitely a good thing to bring. This comes in handy in more unexpected ways than you could possibly imagine. This I'm going to go ahead and take. This is my Ride Power USB charger / voltage readout. So that way I can kind of keep an eye on whatever kind of bikes that I rent over there and see where they're at as far as voltage wise, and charge up some of my devices and stuff. Extra cords, of course, I'm gonna need those. With enough stuff packed to last me the next 3.5 months on the other side of the world, I took my bike for one last spin through the mountains, then filled her full of ethanol-free gas. There she is, all stored for the winter. Tomorrow morning, I am taking an Amtrak up to New York City and spending the night at my friend John's place up there. So what I did to store this, basically, as you see, I got it plugged into the battery tender. I got it filled up with ethanol-free gasoline, added a couple ounces of stable to the gas and kind of let it run for about 5 minutes or so. Additionally, I got my exhaust pipe kind of blocked off with some plastic bags and a rubber band just to keep any mice from, you know, creating a home in there. All right, so it's about 6 a.m. I'm in Roanoke, Virginia, just getting ready to board this train to New York City. Should be a ride of somewhere around 9 hours. Trains are usually a lot more comfortable than either bus or plane travel, where you're basically crammed into a confined area for the duration of the ride. Here at least you've got some elbow room and the ability to get up and take a leak without too much hassle. Been on the train for at least a good 5 hours or so. Pretty comfortable, man. These seats are pretty roomy. Probably one of my favorite ways to travel, obviously aside from being on a motorcycle. If you get these tickets far enough in advance, you can find them pretty cheap. This ride from Virginia up to New York City set me back like $45, you know, buying it like several months in advance kind of thing. And there we got some Washington, D.C. There's the very tippy top of the Capitol building. right, so we're here in Washington, D.C. We got like a 30-minute layover while they swap out the diesel engine to an electric engine. I don't know if that's some like EPA stuff or whatever, but so I got 30 minutes to kind of walk around the D.C. train station, I guess.
Once we get moving here, we do apologize for the slight delay. We're just waiting, a little traffic up ahead. Once the traffic clears out, we'll be on our way.
Picking up some speed finally. This has been pretty slow going up to this point. Here's the city of Baltimore. The worst thing about this ride was the people in front, behind, and right next to me coughing uncontrollably. With the air contaminated with viral infectious disease, I knew I was probably going to be paying a price down the line. And as you can probably hear from the sound of my voice at the making of this video, I was right. All right, Wilmington, Delaware. Walking around at Penn Station. This place is pretty crazy, man. It's kind of like an airport. Next order of business is to get something to eat because it's about 3:30 right now. I still haven't eaten anything literally all day, so.
Yes, taxi service.
To give you an idea of how long it's been since I've been to this city, the last time I was here, I was standing on the observation deck of one of the World Trade Towers. I was around 14 years old and chomping at the bit to get into trouble, but my family refused to let me out of their sight. Yeah. There's the Aguas Calientes, Catarina, from the Dia de los Muertos. Looks like it's in full swing out here. Today is October 31st, which makes it Halloween. So this is Times Square, obviously kind of a famous commercial district of New York City. After being on a train for 9.5 hours, all of a sudden being thrust into a sea of people and trying to figure out how to navigate, use the subway and everything like that. I'm a little out of my element, at least for the time being. So I'm gonna head over to Greenwich Village and see what's going on there. I think they're doing some kind of like a Halloween parade, John said. Alright, so one quick subway ride later, we're in a completely different world. This is Greenwich Village. As you can see, a lot more laid back than Times Square. little bit more my speed right here, you know. Coming to a new place, find a cool little town park like this to hang out and chill, watch what's going on. Oh, see, that's cool, man. This place is a madhouse, dude. That's Edward Norton right there. A bunch of famous people up here. That's what's the name of that comedian? Jim Gaffigan, I think. There's the actor from The Sopranos. There we go. There, look at that. Sicilian, crispy pepperoni. And this is something called Nonna Maria. I don't know what it is. Looks good. This is the Nonna Maria. Words fail me. That is ridiculously good. You got San Marzano tomatoes from Italy, fresh basil. I'm not really sure exactly what the cheese is. It might be some type of ricotta or something, but insane. And of course, that's going to be good. Yeah, that's incredible. The dough, pepperoni, cheese, everything top quality. Oh yeah, had to go back for a second piece. That's just too good. Probably the best pizza I've ever had, honestly. Just absolutely phenomenal. Incredible quality ingredients. Everything was spiced, just perfect. What I'd anticipated would be a quick stop by the Halloween parade for some video quickly turned into bedlam as the subway station vomited out a never-ending stream of people onto 6th Street. This place wasn't crowded at all like an hour ago, dude. And it's like everybody just got here all at once. It's absolutely swarming with people. You know, a lot of people are all dressed up and stuff. What are the best at? Where does that go? Alright, so right over there is a very noteworthy jazz club. Got a lot of historical significance. A lot of the absolute greats in the world of jazz have played that place. The parade had been set to start at 7 p.m. It was now almost 8, and I'd been waiting in the crowd for over an hour. I had a plane to catch early in the morning, and I was beginning to have serious doubts about my ability to get out of this place in a timely manner. Started. I mean, there were like a couple of people that kind of marched down the road. I can't wait forever. I got to wake up early tomorrow and catch that plane. I don't know how I'm going to get out of here. All right, so now apparently the subway's completely closed. Talked to a cop and she told me about some other place, you know, some train or something that I guess I'm going to take. Suddenly the crowd reached an absolute standstill on the street. And people began shoving and pushing each other forward. Sketchy, dude.
I'm not going to lie, we're trying to go the opposite way, son.
Don't get me started out here. Nah, this is crazy.
The girl next to me started hyperventilating, and there were a couple of altercations which nearly broke out into a fist fight. Night.
Go to anywhere that girl, I'm like, it sounds like everybody's like stopping to just like.
Dude, that shit right there was sketchy, man. It looks like the parade is kind of started now. Feel a little better because I'm a little closer to the way out. It's cool, man. I mean, it seems like a logistical nightmare they got going on out here with this many fucking people. Thank God I got away from that clusterfuck that was 6th Street of Greenwich Village, man. It was absolutely insane out there, dude. People were getting pissed off, yelling at each other. Like, I thought there was going to be, at the bare minimum, a fist fight break out. And at the worst, you know, maybe somebody ended up getting trampled or something out there. There was just like a narrow part of 6th Street that just kind of funnels into this narrow funnel. I mean, girls were like freaking out. People were hyperventilating. It was pretty crazy. But so finally, you know, about an hour later and a couple of wrong subway decisions later, I'm almost at John's house. Supposedly he left the key out here for me. So I'm going to go pick that up and try to get some rest, and tomorrow's a big day, man. I got to wake up early and head over to JFK Airport. Get back. All right, about 7:30 this morning, just leaving John's place and heading over to JFK Airport. One last taste of genuine American food before getting on the plane. So my first stop is going to be in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, which is kind of in the vicinity of Mecca and all of that. I got a layover there for 23 hours or something, so not really sure what I'm going to do once I get there. Probably not going to try to go to Mecca, just because I'm not Muslim, you know. But yeah, it's about a 12-hour flight over there, and then flying to Manila the day after that. From New York City, I headed east to Saudi Arabia. The flight took about 11 and a half hours. Just entering the country of Saudi Arabia officially, and it's pretty hot out here, but yeah, so initially I got this ticket out of New York City through the Saudi airline, thinking it was going to be really cheap, but as it turns out, I had to pay like $110 just for the visa, just to be here for like the next 23 hours, so it really kind of wasn't that sweet of a deal after all. Really kind of misleading on the website. They made it sound like the visa was kind of included, or there was something called a transit visa, which was only going to be like $10, but that wasn't the case as far as I could tell. It is what it is. I'm here, so, you know, stuff like that happens. As soon as I left the airport, I hailed a cab and headed over to the historic district of town. In a marked contrast from New York City, this place was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. All right, so this is Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. First impressions, it's definitely a lot quieter than New York City. Yeah, this whole historic district is kind of bizarre. There's like scarcely a soul out here, pretty much. But man, some of these buildings look like they got a lot of history. Got a lot of ornate wood carvings. It's very, very clean. I mean, you could practically eat off the sidewalk. Of course, it'd probably be covered in desert dust. I got to admit, I was really starting to feel a little out of place here. Although they didn't smile much, the men would often pop their heads out of the shops and greet me in Arabic.
Hi.
Marhaba. This whole section of town is kind of like a maze, man. Like, the taxi driver dropped me off in kind of a random location. I have absolutely no idea where the hell I am. Marhaba. All right, I was excited about trying some of these. These are pistachios. Hello.
Hello.
Can I have like an eighth of a kilo of these?
20 real 1 kilo.
Huh?
20 real.
A quarter kilo?
1 kilo.
Only 1 kilo?
No problem. Half kilo?
Quarter kilo?
No problem. Okay. 5
Okay.
real?
Okay, 5 real. Okay, shukran. All right, just got some beautiful looking fresh dates to go with my pistachios that I just picked up. I've mentioned that pretty much been fasting ever since I left JFK Airport. Haven't eaten anything in like the last close to 24 hours. I'm doing that, trying to follow a protocol that sort of helps your body fight off jet lag. If you fast pretty much from the time you leave until the time you get where you're going, it really just dramatically cuts the jet lag. Still kind of trying to figure out the culture around here. This is a totally new ball game for me. You know, traveled a lot in Southeast Asia and Mexico and other places in Latin America, but never any Arabic countries, so just kind of figuring things out. I don't really see a lot of people like talking loudly in the open like I'm doing right now. Or for that matter, eating in public. Then, you know, it's very quiet, very reserved culture, man. I'm trying not to like offend anybody, you know. All right, I see some people eating over here. All right, a little bit of pistachios, a little bit of sesame seed covered dates. This looks like a perfect way to break a fast right here. A bit of Saudi pistachios. Oh yeah. Sesame covered date. Dude, that's awesome. I gotta do for my YouTube. No photo? All right, well that was awesome. Those 5 or 6 guys that I just ran into just absolutely fed the crap out of me, man. They had a big stack of like different types of flatbread. Some of them were like white flour, some were wheat flour, about 3 different kinds of cheeses. Everything absolutely delicious. Just got in a conversation. The only requirement for sitting down and eating with them is I couldn't record. I have to say that although a lot of the people are really camera shy and sort of stoic and reserved, as I've hung around for a little bit, people have just been super nice. Some store clerk just gave me 5 bottles of water free, you know, didn't even charge anything. Somebody offered me a taxi ride free. The afternoon call to prayer rolled around and virtually the whole town shut down. I felt a little bit weird doing voiceover just because that neighborhood was so quiet. Even though there were a lot of people walking around and stuff, I mean, you could hear a pin drop. So I felt kind of weird being the guy that's, oh, hey, look at me, check this out, and everything like that. You know, like I said, initially it's kind of hard to get a read on people. Just culturally, they're very stoic and quiet. But like I said, I mean, at the end of the day, 5 free bottles of water, plus the free lunch that those guys invited me to. You know, even though the people don't necessarily display a lot of emotion, at the end of the day, it seems like the people here just have a really warm sense of hospitality. The heat, I'll mention, is in the high 90s. It's pretty warm, but you know, from what I heard, it gets a lot hotter. I mean, 120-degree days. I'm actually pretty jacked up right now in spite of the fact that I haven't really had any sleep for about the last 24 hours or so. I've been drinking this, what they call Saudi coffee. It doesn't smell or taste like coffee at all. It tastes like cinnamon and cardamom. Basically, I thought it was tea, but they kept calling it coffee. It turns out that it actually is coffee, and it actually does get you jacked up. It might even have a higher caffeine level than like traditional roasted coffee. I think they make it from like the green unroasted coffee kernel or something like that, but absolutely delicious. And they just give you a little shot glass sized portion of it. This is one part of the world where corporal punishment is still enforced. Now, basically, it's pretty simple. If you get caught stealing, missing a hand, not to even mention, you know, offenses that warrant capital punishment. You know, even the guys that I was eating lunch with were like going out of their way to pick up every little breadcrumb that was dropped on the sidewalk. That makes it so this country has one of the lowest rates of crime of any other country in the world. Marhaba. Do you have coffee? Coffee? Okay. No sugar. When I sat down at this sheesha lounge, they served me a different type of coffee from the Saudi stuff. This was so thick a spoon would practically stand up in it. My nerves had been on edge from all the excitement of the day, and after about 20 minutes of smoking the sheesha pipe, I began to mellow out. Unfortunately, my little Saudi adventure came to kind of a bitter ending there, man. I just finally got through TSA, and for whatever reason, one of the Saudi ladies that was working the TSA line just absolutely had a hard-on for me right from the beginning. She pulled me aside. She's going through everything in my suitcase, like, what is this? What is this? What is this? And just like being really pushy, just pushing my stuff through. There's like nowhere to put this stuff because I got all my stuff laid out, right? So my camera drops off the table, and I'm just like, luckily it didn't break, but still, I mean, it's like we got into a back and forth thing. We could speculate on what the reason is that somebody would have that much of a hard-on for me. You know, it is what it is, man. I mean, like I said, for the most part, people have been absolutely awesome, very generous, very kind of like hospitable, you know. Unfortunately, you know, a place like this, an Arabic country, there's gonna be some prejudice that you're gonna encounter. And whether that was it or not, maybe she was just having a bad day and I just happened to be there, you know, maybe so. After my shitty experience in TSA, I continued heading east toward Manila. This flight would take about 10.5 hours. All right, just landed in Manila, made it through immigration, no sweat at all. Got my SIM card hooked up, so now I can use the internet and make calls and stuff to other Filipino numbers, which doesn't really do me any good right now, but so anyway, got some currency exchanged as well, and now about to brave the taxi stand, which is outside of Manila Airport. Some of the most aggressive taxi drivers. You cannot allow these people to set the rate, you know, make sure they're on the meter, otherwise they will charge you an arm and a leg. It's an absolute scam. They get away with it, no problem, but you gotta learn how to play the game. All right, this is your bare bones, minimalist sort of a room. The shower and bathroom is across the hall. It's 11:22 this time, which means it's 11:22 a.m. back home. Feeling pretty rough, man. After 3 solid days of travel, I'm absolutely fatigued, delirious. I don't know yet how bad the jet lag is gonna be, but like I mentioned, I've been kind of like doing this intermittent fasting thing. That seems to just really go a long way towards mitigating the effects of the jet lag. So we'll see how it goes. I don't think it'll be that bad once I get a couple of full nights of sleep and kind of rest up. So tomorrow I'm heading out of here in the morning and taking yet another flight down to Cebu City. Couldn't be happier to be back. For whatever reason, different places agree with different people for different reasons. This is a place that I just instantly fell in love with. So although this hotel is not the best, obviously it's super loud all night long, but I did get some pretty good sleep. But another reason why I've been so excited about coming back to this exact spot is they've got this awesome cafe restaurant type of a deal right there that just has some amazing food and really cheap. So. This is something called beef kare-kare, which is basically beef in a type of curry sauce. Of course, you got the delicious Filipino rice. Another thing I've really been looking forward to, some stewed eggplant and some kind of greens. This entire plate and that coffee for like $4.50. Cheers. It's delicious. It's like beef stewed in like a spicy peanut sauce. When I got to the airport, I had yet another hurdle to deal with. Man, I was so close, dude. Turns out that my flight had gotten rescheduled. They supposedly sent me an email that I was supposed to confirm in time, and I didn't even see it, so they gave my seat to somebody else, but put me on another flight. I got about 6 hours to kill in Terminal 2 of Ninoy Aquino Airport, so it is what it is. Unlike in Saudi Arabia, TSA didn't even bat an eye about any of my stuff, so I don't know what that was all about. This is a thing in the Philippines and something I've been craving for a while. It's basically a waffle sandwich. You can get them in all kinds of different types of ingredients and stuff. Basically just a Belgian waffle. In this case, I got it stuffed with cream cheese and banana. Cheers. Refreshing. Got a little hint of coconut. Maybe they're using coconut oil on the griddle. And of course, you got to have the obligatory siopao, which is like a steamed bun that's eaten all over Asia, filled with like minced up chicken, spices. Absolutely delicious. Finally, after nearly 4 long days of hard travel, I boarded the last flight, which would take me to Cebu City. Amazingly, when I got to the hotel, all the stuff I'd stored some 9 months prior was totally intact. After a long, epic journey halfway around the world, I was finally ready to prepare for my next adventure. Hey, Joe here. So in retrospect, a couple of things stood out about that journey. Number one, never estimate the capacity of other human beings to be incredibly warm, but also incredibly shitty. It's like that no matter where you go, so there's gonna be assholes everywhere. And there's, you know, by contrast, there's also gonna be some really awesome people that you encounter. It's all part of the travel experience. Secondly, embarking on a journey that long over a 4-day period was, in retrospect, a mistake. Typically when I'm flying to Southeast Asia, I like to get the whole thing kind of out of the way in about 48 hours or less. This time it was pretty much 4 days of prolonged agony. If you're going to fly to this part of the world, I highly recommend trying to get it out of the way with as few layovers as possible. It was further compounded by the fact that, you know, I was walking around on the streets of New York on Halloween. You know, that was exhausting enough in itself. Getting lost in Saudi Arabia, walking around in the hot sun, that kind of thing. By the time I got to Manila, I was absolutely dead tired. So don't recommend, you know, doing it the way that I did. My most comfortable trips to Southeast Asia have been flying first to like Japan and then flying to wherever it is I'm going, you know, Vietnam, Thailand, wherever. And the jet lag has been pretty minimal, actually. I'm definitely feeling the effects of it, just, you know, that long 4-day journey to get here. But that being said, it could be a lot worse. I think that the Argonne protocol that I was following for the jet lag really kind of went a long way towards mitigating some of the effects. But, you know, nevertheless, you know, I've been in Cebu for a day and I'm still recovering. But the whole thing was just awesome from start to finish, all things considered. I'm extremely grateful to have been able to undertake such a journey, and lastly, to be able to share it with you guys. So stick around for some interesting content from the Philippines. There's a lot of islands here that I have not yet explored, so intend to do some island hopping and renting some motorcycles and scooters, doing some camping, and all of that good stuff. So stay tuned for some of that. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. And as usual, I've included an optional donate link in the drop box for anybody that might like to contribute to this project. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the road.